Hi, welcome to this screencast in which I'll be telling you about the Teaching Functional Skills Maths and English CPD modules. The modules have been produced by WMCETT on behalf of the Education and Training Foundation and are aimed at teachers of functional skills in all settings: colleges, work-based learning, prisons and adult and continuing education. First of all, the aims of the modules. As you'll probably be aware, functional skills are changing from September 2019, and the first aim of the course will be to update practitioners with regard to the new content and how it's examined. The second aim is to develop teachers' understanding of evidence-based maths and English teaching strategies, effective strategies that can help learners engage and understand maths and English. We'll also be modelling active approaches to engage and make learning more meaningful for learners, and this is perhaps the most important part of the course: lots of practical teaching strategies. Finally, there will be optional opportunities for accreditation for those who want to seek it. Some key information about the modules. So first of all, both modules are 30 guided learning hours. Now those guided learning hours can be delivered in different ways, either as 5 full days of face-to-face training or as 10 half days, or we now have an option for blended learning, which involves just 3 days face-to-face training plus webinars and online learning. All courses have access to a course website with useful links to other websites and materials, and the option to download the course materials. Finally, the Ascentis accreditation will be 15 credits at level 5. Note that this is optional and that there are extra costs involved for those who do want to seek the accreditation.
Who is the course for? The course is aimed at teachers and trainers in the post-16 sector in a range of different settings, including work-based learning, adult and community learning, offender learning and colleges. It's for existing teachers who are already immersed in functional skills and who benefit from some subject-specific training on techniques to supplement the ones they're already using. And for those who are new to functional skills. Many people have recently entered the sector, often through the assessor route, and may not have a subject specialism in teaching English and maths, and the course will help them to use the strategies that English teachers and maths teachers regularly use to move the learners on.
We're now going to say a little bit more about the content of the two modules. So first of all, maths, some of the approaches that participants can expect to see if they enrol on the course. First of all, learners' starting points and needs. So we'll be looking at different techniques for initial and diagnostic assessment, looking wider than just the standard tools, looking at learners' histories of maths learning and what the barriers are and where their negative attitudes towards the subject come from. Related to this, we'll be looking at issues of mindsets towards maths and what strategies practitioners can use to develop more resilient approaches to maths learning. Methods of calculation and number sense are important in the new qualifications, as learners will have to do a non-calculator paper. So we'll be looking at different methods of calculation and also ways of developing learners' number sense, their feel for numbers, and how they can use estimation techniques and make sense of their answers a little bit better. We'll also be addressing learners' errors and misconceptions and how you can deal with those and use them constructively in the classroom. Bar modelling has become a very popular technique to deal with topics such as fractions, ratios and proportion, and we'll be seeing how those can be used successfully with functional maths learners. Language can be a big issue in functional skills, and we'll be looking at this along with the needs of learners with SEND, special educational needs and disabilities. Common measures is a key part of functional maths, and we'll be looking at practical approaches to develop that. And we'll also be looking at how we can use real-life data sets to make data handling tasks more meaningful. A key issue in functional maths is developing learners' problem-solving skills. And we'll be looking at how those skills can be scaffolded to develop, and also using coaching approaches to help learners tackle and persist with problems. Finally, the key issue of helping learners make sense of those contextualised exam questions, which will still be very much a part of the new qualifications.
In the English course, similarly to the maths, we'll be looking at identifying learners' starting points and developing growth mindsets and resilience. One of the big changes to Functional Skills English is that at entry level, learners will be tested on spelling. There's an expectation that teachers will be able to use phonics approaches, as well as other approaches, to develop reading and spelling skills in their learners at entry level. So we've included that in this course. Alongside that, lots of different ways of teaching spelling, punctuation and grammar to make them exciting and interesting and lift them off the page. Spoken language skills are crucial for work and everyday life. If we're looking at functional skills, we have to look at the different ways in which spoken language is used and not assume that because someone's a native speaker or is using spoken English every day, they automatically know how to adapt the way they speak for different contexts and audiences. At a higher level from entry level, we're looking specifically about critical reading and thinking. At level 2 of the new functional skills, there's much more about implied meaning required, so we'll be looking at that. We're looking at ways of developing writing so that learners can critique their own skills, and we can, as teachers, support the learners' writing to improve with feedback that works and feeds development. Of course, we're including dyslexia in the course and other support strategies for learners with learning difficulties and disabilities.
Each of the courses will have their own course website, which all participants will have access to. The one you can see here is the maths website, and you can see down the right-hand column the different sub-pages on that website. So there will be a course overview and the course content, but there will also be a place where participants can download the materials from the course taught days. There'll be links to websites where they can obtain teaching materials, particularly those materials modelled in the course. There will also be further information about the optional accreditation and, related to that, recommended reading to help with the accreditation. Finally, there will be a discussion forum which participants can use to discuss issues between the taught days. A little bit more about the blended learning option. I said before, it is 3 days of face-to-face learning. In addition, there will be 3 90-minute webinars. Now, participants will need access to a good internet connection in order to be able to engage with these. The final element is 9 to 10 hours of independent online learning, which will be conducted through Moodle. So those will be completed both pre and post the face-to-face days and the webinars, and will complement them. It's recommended that the blended learning course, and indeed all the courses, are delivered over a period of at least 5 weeks to allow for the blended tasks and to allow for learners to reflect and apply what they've learned.
We've already mentioned there's optional accreditation, which supplements courses that people may already be undertaking for teacher education qualifications. So the course is at level 5, as we've mentioned, and it has a credit value of 15 units. In order to achieve the accreditation, the participants will have to complete case studies of 2 learners, preferably at 2 different levels, but not necessarily, because we're aware that not everybody teaches different levels. We're asking that participants analyse different approaches to teaching and learning functional skills based on their own research and on things referred to and included in the course. Everyone will be expected to complete a reflective diary, mapping out not only what they've gained from the course and from their own thinking, but also where they're going to go next as they work through their teaching. An indication of the assessment criteria and the learning outcomes can be seen on the right-hand side. How much does all this cost? Individuals can pay £400 or £340 if they're members of the Society of Education and Training, or organisations can host courses for up to 10 of their own staff, opening up places to others who'll be paying the full fees, that's £2,600, or a full in-house course for up to 16 delegates is £3,680. If you'd like to know more about hosting courses, contact Julie Chamberlain at Warwick University at the email address on the screen. If you'd like to book on the courses, as they are, visit the ETF Foundation booking page. Again, the links are on the course. Thank you.